What up, Superhumans? It's Stephen Freeborn here from RSC, and I'm actually coming to you post-workout myself here at the Layer of Awesomeness. And I wanted to take a couple minutes out of your day just to talk to you about another training tip that I think could really help you. And it's something we do with our Superhumans before they train, and hopefully they do after they train. And that's proper breathing. And we do this for three, I think, really big reasons. And number one, and I think is really important, is it gives the client or the superhuman just a moment to come in, bring themselves into the present, so stop thinking about what they need to cook for dinner, or maybe what's going on at work, depending on when they're training, and bring themselves right now, right here, center themselves, and bring themselves to a point where they're relaxed and can focus on the next 60 minutes of their day, putting effort towards whatever goal they may have, and getting the most out of the training session. Second of all, I think it's a big issue in our society that a lot of us suck really bad at breathing properly. A lot of us are already in very overly extended postures. We got a lot of lumbar lordosis, and so our diaphragm can't work the way it's supposed to work in that position. And our diaphragm is the muscle we're supposed to use to expand our lungs and draw in big gulps of oxygen. But instead, a lot of us breathe through our chest and our accessory muscles. And we tend to be mouth breathers, a lot of us. And the issue with this is that it's a very sympathetic dominant state. So sympathetic is part of our nervous system. It's part of our autonomous nervous system, which is part of our peripheral nervous system. So if you think of like our central nervous system being your brain and your spinal cord, your peripheral nervous system is kind of everything else. And inside the peripheral nervous system, you've got your autonomous nervous system, which is the part of our nervous system we don't have to think about. We don't, when you reach out to grab something, you're actually using coordinated movement, conscious coordinated movement to grab whatever you're reaching for, whereas your autonomous nervous system is more like your reflexes or your heart rate. It's part of your nervous system that's constantly regulating and monitoring things and making adjustments without you really having to think or even possibly even know it's happening. So, and that's kind of divided into two segments. It's your parasympathetic and your sympathetic. And your sympathetic is the fight or flight response, whereas that's what you're what's going to happen when you get in an argument, or you're running for your life or fighting for your life. It elevates your heart rate, it increases your respirations, it draws blood flow away from your extremities, it shuts down digestion, all those things. And then your parasympathetic, if you want a good representation of that, you can think of like your dog chilling on its cushion, paws in the air, head rolled to the side, tongue hanging out, just snoring, snoozing away, just very relaxed and no worries, not a care in the world. That's very parasympathetic dominant state. That's our part of our nervous system that we use to recover and relax and to chill out in, and that's important. It's important for us to have periods where we go into a sympathetic state, and then it's definitely important for us to have periods where we transition to a more parasympathetic state. The issue with us is that we don't really ever get that transition to the parasympathetic. We live most of our lives in today's world in kind of a sympathetic state because we've got kids to raise, spouses to make a relationship with, we've got jobs we need to do well at, all these things that demand our time and can be kind of stressful and cause that sympathetic response. Then you couple that with that poor breathing we talked about with the chest breathing and the accessory muscle use, which is replicates breathing that you would see if someone was fighting or flighting or running away. Flighting, I don't know what that means. Running away for their life. And so, imagine like you take off on a sprint, you run out of breath, so what do? You start breathing hard and heavy and sucking in as much air as possible because you're under respiratory distress. So if you're breathing like that all day long, you're just driving that sympathetic response more and more and more, and so we never get into that relaxation period and the recovery period. So with proper breathing with the clients, when we bring them in to train, they can get more into that parasympathetic side. So proper breathing is supposed to be parasympathetic, so it relaxes you, puts you in a much more toned down state, if you will. And then 3, the breathing makes our warm up and our strength training, everything we do after it, much more effective. And that's because one of the things that's a part of our autonomous nervous system is the neural tone in our muscles. So you may feel like when your arms are at your side and you're standing still, like you're relaxed, okay? But that's not the truth. There's still tone. There's still some tone in those muscles. That's how things stay together and you don't just fall over on the floor. But when you're in a sympathetic state, that neural tone is much higher. And when the neural tone in your muscle is much higher, that makes you much more stiff and inflexible, and you can't have proper access to all the ranges of motions of your muscles and your joints. But if we can get you out of that sympathetic response and get you more into a sympathetic state, we can decrease the neural tone in your muscles. We can make you more flexible just from breathing. And so that opens up new ranges of motions that we can, activate and warm up and get ready for movement much more effectively. And then when we apply load and force to those muscles, we can train the muscles and the joints through their full ranges of motion, which is much safer and it's going to get you much better results. So I want to show you real quick one of our favorite drills to do for this, to teach proper breathing, to transition from sympathetic to parasympathetic, to relax, and to also decrease neural tone so we can get more out of our training. And that is the 90-90 supine breathing. And how we do this drill is we have a client approach the wall. We have them sit down on their butt, put their feet up on the wall so that their ankles are bent at 90 degrees, their knees are bent at 90 degrees, and their hips are bent at 90 degrees. Then we have them take a big breath in through their nose, and we have them forcefully exhale out through their mouth. And when they do the forceful exhale, we have them lift their bum off the ground and posteriorly tilt their pelvis and dig their heels into that wall. Then we just have them repeat that same breathing pattern 10 times, say, and we have them big breath in through the nose, and then big breath out through the mouth. Each time that belly should go up, and then it should fall when you exhale. I hope this helps you. I hope it improves your movement abilities. I hope it makes you more relaxed and you get more out of your training. If you're ever interested in working with us at RSC, please feel free to check out rsc.training or give us a call at 417-540-8870. Keep being awesome.